You know, when you're using social media so consistently, year in, year out, it becomes such a normal part of your life and it affects you in ways that you don't really realize because it's just how you are now. I've taken a step back from Instagram over the last few weeks. Well, I can't even say I've taken a step back. I got banned from Instagram. It's a long story, but pretty much I told people, I made a video that went, not viral, but like it got 200,000 views. And I told people to delete their Instagram accounts. And thousands of people deleted their Instagram accounts. And then just suddenly my account got banned. I deleted my account before this, but they fully banned me after that. And, they're watching, bro. I had this conversation with someone recently. We were in the sauna and I told them like, oh, has this happened to you where your phone's not even on Instagram or anything? You'll be talking, having a conversation, and then next time you go onto Instagram, you get an advert for something you were just talking about. Isn't it? I know this is like a side tangent, but isn't it fucking weird that that's like a real thing that we're all just okay with? That's, well, how fucked is that? Like they literally listen to your phone 24/7. My phone is like this right now. Like it's not, it's on, but it's like on lock screen. If I just start saying a particular thing like, oh yeah, guys, I'm really looking to buy houses in Edinburgh, UK, and my budget is £250,000. I'm looking to buy house. Do you know about any houses, bro? If I see, well, I don't have Instagram anymore, but like, if you would say have a conversation like this, and then an advert for the thing that you were just talking about would pop up. Has that happened to you? That's fucking weird, isn't it? They're literally listening 24/7. When you're having a shit, they can listen to you. Mark Zuckerberg's just there, just edging whilst you're having a shit. How fucked is that? They're literally listening. Oh man, I didn't even mean to go down that direction for this video, but what I wanted to talk about before I started ranting about Mark Zuckerberg listening to you having his shit was that you're worth more than social media makes you feel. When you go onto social media so frequently, and I think the number one worst app for this is Instagram, but potentially, I don't have experience of this, but potentially it might also be TikTok. Maybe like the younger generation could inform me of this. When you go onto these apps, I think everyone kind of understands now that it does kind of fuck up your mental health in some ways. I think a big part of it is that you just see this barrage of photoshopped, perfect angle, happy faces who are more attractive than you. They're happier than you, they're more successful than you. If you're in a relationship, you see this couple who are just smiling all the time and they've got a better relationship than you do. So it seems. You're looking at girls who are dancing on TikTok and they're more successful than you, that they're really like attractive, that the shape of her figure is really, really nice, and that makes you feel worse and worse and worse. You see, when you go on these platforms, you can't help but compare yourself to the people that you're looking at. You really can't. Because if you could, right, you would understand this. Imagine you're on Instagram. It's not like, here's a guy who's really muscular and really successful. It's not like you consciously hear the words in your mind like, yep, that's someone else and his success is not related to my success. I'm just going to compare myself to who I was yesterday, 1% better. You're not going to see that. If you're a girl and, there's a girl there with a better figure than yours, it's not like you're going to be thinking, oh yeah, she's really putting the work for her figure in. Like, oh yeah, I'm my own, but you're not. It's just a subconscious, like, instant thing that happens. You see someone who's more muscular than you. Oh shit, okay. I thought I was here, but I'm actually here because here's a guy who's better than me. You see someone who's more successful than you. Oh, here. This, what I'm indicating here is kind of like the social hierarchy, the dominance hierarchy. And it's kind of like a dark truth of human life that we are all in like some kind of hierarchy. We kind of understand where we are in the ranking of the social relationships. Does that make sense? So we kind of understand where we are. If you're in a classroom, you kind of understand, oh yeah, like I'm roughly here, like maybe about the middle, maybe a little bit better. If you're like really popular, you'd be like, yep, I'm one of the top people in here. It's quite weird to like autistically state this, but we kind of all understand it, don't we? Before our mental health was fucked by social media, how things would work in this hierarchy 200 years ago was that we knew where we were amongst our tribes. And tribes on average used to be about 150 people. So you'd know, okay, I'm a young guy. I'm not very successful. I'm not very good at like hunting just yet or farming just yet. So I'm right here, but I'm doing well. I'm not a lazy guy. I'm a hard worker. I'm getting up higher and higher and higher. And when you only compare yourself to 100 people and 70 of them are male and 20 of them are your age, it doesn't really fuck up your mental health as much, does it? If you imagine that dynamic right now, if you compared yourself to like just 20 people in your entire life, if you only compared yourself to 20 people, it was literally like your brother, your best friend, your nephew, if you literally just compared yourself to them, it would kind of be quite humbling, but also quite positive, because you see yourself against your brother and be like, oh yeah, like me and him are like, we're leveling up, and like, oh yeah, he's not being lazy, so I'm not going to be lazy too. That's quite like a healthy level of competition. And for women too, it's like, okay, if you're comparing yourself in our old tribes hundreds of years ago, thousands of years ago, 150 people, 75, 80 are women, 20 women are women your age, and you're like, oh yeah, well, that's my sister and she's also nice, but like, yeah, well, like we're both like feminine, or we're both whatever, like you'd compare as a woman. That wouldn't fuck up your mental health that much, thinking, oh yeah, well, there's 15 girls that I'm kind of amongst right now. But here we are on social media and we see hundreds every week, perhaps thousands every week. And also not just that, you don't just see the people in your tribe who are close to your location in the world and your social economic status, like your country, your city or anything. You're seeing them from all around the world. And so we hop on as men, we hop onto Instagram and we see some jacked guy who's living in Dubai, who's got daddy's money and he's in some big fancy mansion. We also see some guy who's in Miami, who's with like 10 really, really hot, like club kind of girls. Suddenly that tribe of 150 that humans have been used to for our entire species lives has exploded to 150,000. And when you're comparing yourself, because it is a normal thing to compare yourself. Honestly, it is. Like, there's this new movement where we're supposed to say, like, I don't compare myself to anyone else. I don't believe that. I don't think you can turn it off. I think we are inherently creatures who compare against other humans. It's just that the new sort of platforms have really fucked this over for us. We can't help but to compare ourselves against other people. And, in our tribe, so for example, if you're in your sort of geographical location, you go to class, you go to work, you go to the gym, it's about 150 people. Okay, fine. But as soon as you look online, as soon as you go on TikTok, as soon as you go on Instagram, your brain can't help but to compare against these people who are so far ahead of you. They've had completely different lives, but now you feel less worthy. You feel like you're not good enough because of someone who isn't really even a bad person either. Social media makes you feel less than you actually are. And I think that's unacceptable. I've said before that the most important things of our lives is our mental health, our attitude, our beliefs, all that sort of like psychological stuff. I think everything else comes from that. Everything else comes from our own self-image, our mental health, our like ability to perceive ourselves as the people we truly are and to see ourselves in a positive light, because that's really where growth and success comes from. To take a hit to our mental health and our self-image by using these platforms, I don't think that's a good trade at all. I think most people would agree with me. That's a very, very bad trade. You're worth more than social media makes you feel. And what's very interesting and kind of scary is that we know this. You totally agree. And yet straight after this video, within a couple of minutes, perhaps during this video, you're going to check social media again. It's kind of like we're crackheads, honestly. I know that sounds weird. It's kind of like we're crackheads. We know that that drug is bad for us, but we just can't help but to take another hit. And this is why social media really scares us as adults. It's why it's such like a dark thing when you really think about it. It agitates us sometimes, it frustrates us sometimes. Why? Because you plan to go to sleep and then suddenly it's an hour later and you've just been on Instagram. That loss of autonomy, that loss of control as an adult feels very scary because we like having control over our lives. But with social media, these addictive platforms, we feel like we actually have no control. We just keep going back on there to literally just be hurt mentally once more, and again and again and again. That really scares us. The effect that I think it has, especially on like the younger sort of generation, your entire identity is built up on these platforms, which then means that you emotionally invest in them. Emotional investments is a very, very interesting concept. It's kind of like just how much you think and feel about a particular thing. And we think and feel about our life on Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, everything. Quite often, it's quite a big part of our lives now. So we are all very emotionally invested onto these platforms. And then to take a step back when you know, okay, it's fucking up my mental health. I want to take a break. I want to quit. I don't want to use it anymore. I'd love to, like, spend more time in nature with real life friends. You've already invested so much of it. Your life, your identity is already on there. You don't want to miss out. If you delete it, what if someone messages you? What if you delete it? What if, like, you're going to go meet someone and they ask for your Instagram and you have to, like, be kind of weird and say, oh, well, I don't have Instagram anymore. The more that everyone as a whole, as a collective of our generation invests into these platforms, the harder it is for us to take a step back. I fear for our generation because I actually think this is, like, the biggest problem for us, and we're up against an enemy that is extremely, extremely capable. The software developers in Silicon Valley who make these apps, like, these, like, really, really educated, smart guys who work on MacBooks like 16 hours a day, they are employed and they're paid amazing, like, unreal amounts. They're paid like $500,000 like dollars a year, and their, like, sole job, like, they're told, is, okay, increase retention. What that means is that there are people who are employed, paid so much, motivated so much, and their job is specifically to make sure that you are hooked onto the platform. It's you versus these guys at Silicon Valley. That's why it's so hard, because they are literally sat there 16 hours a day thinking, okay, how can we make sure that you, this person watching this video right now, stays on the platform for an extra 36 seconds on average? Let's experiment with this icon. Oh, let's change it to this icon. Let's change this color of this notification to a slightly different one. Let's optimize every literal pixel on the screen and see what happens. And they've done all of these tests. They know that exact shade of red on your notifications, they know that that's most likely to trigger some kind of emotional response inside of you. They know that they make you feel insecure. They know that they have messed up the mental health of our generation. They know that they have caused suicides. A lot of people who kill themselves who are our age, I would say a lot of them are heavily influenced by negative, like, mental health issues from social media. These companies are evil. They have blood on their hands, and they push forward with their mission for more profits. They have single-handedly reduced your perception of yourself, your self-image, how much you think you're worth, significantly. And all you've gotten back out of it is a platform to message people, but you could have texted and called them outside of the social media platform anyway. Use your normal text message, iMessage and WhatsApp. And also, you get to see, like, posts from your friends, but, like, you could have seen their pictures anyway. The 3 hours that you spend per day on, like, Instagram, if you save that time, you could just go spend the real time with your friends, and you don't need to see their pictures anymore. Oh, but what other excuses is there? Oh, but sometimes it's fun to, like, see memes and, like, new trends. Is that what we're trading our mental health for? Memes. You're worth so much more than social media makes you feel. And I really hope that you find the discipline to take the step forward, to really realize this, and to really say to yourself, you know what? The trade-off isn't even worth it. And to realize that this is a daily battle. That whatever angle you want to go to sort of reduce your social media use, or to use it in more of a healthy way, or to quit entirely, you've got to understand it's a daily battle, that it's not just a one and done decision. A lot of people think that. A lot of people just hold down on the Instagram app, delete it, and they feel this level of, like, yeah, accomplishment, I've deleted Instagram, and then they end up downloading it again within 2 weeks max, within 3 days usually, because it's a daily battle. It's not enough to just quit the platform. You have to emotionally de-invest away from it, and to start emotionally investing into, like, real life instead. You have to set up systems. It's hard. This video would get more views if I told you, here's the 6 easy steps to never use Instagram again, bro. It's extremely hard to do, honestly. I'm very privileged and lucky that I'm banned on Instagram now. I already had taken a big step back from social media before then. I dedicated my life to this. for the last 2 years, I've literally like thought about this like almost every day. This has been like a big mission for me to help people to like take a step back from modern technology that's fucking them up. Social media, porn, video games. And even then, at the start of this year, I was spending more than an hour a day on Instagram, and I didn't even mean to. I posted a video to my channel telling people to delete Instagram right now. It was just like an emotional rant, 40 minutes of me just angry, swearing at Instagram. I told people to delete Instagram. Thousands of men deleted their Instagram accounts, and then Instagram banned me straight after that. They don't realize who they're up against. They are extremely competent, but they do not realize who they are up against, because I am leading a revolution of young people who are tired, who are sick of these platforms. This is like the new age revolution. This is our generation's war. Very interesting, isn't it? If you're from like the West and safe countries, we've never really had a war on our ground before. We've never really felt like there has been a war, conflict, turmoil. It's been in front of our eyes all this time. There has been a war. We just didn't realize we were fighting. These guys at Silicon Valley were winning for free. We didn't realize we were supposed to fight back. We got these apps on our phone for free, and wow, we can like send memes to each other, and we can message each other, and wow, I can post likes and it feels good to get notification. I can post a picture and it feels good to get likes. We didn't even realize we were fighting a war. My hope for you is that you realize how important this really is. You prioritize your mental health, your self-worth, and you realize that nothing is more important than that. It's time to join the revolution of young people who are just fighting back against these addictive, evil platforms. You're worth so much more than social media makes you feel. And as soon as you take a big step back, you'll feel this again. You'll really see this. And you'll get like this new sense of like self-worth. You'll literally find yourself like standing up straighter, taking deeper breaths, smiling more often. How beautiful is that? You'll find yourself like it's almost like you can see the dynamic in your brain that when you'd quit social media, I bet you kind of visualize yourself like, yeah, like I'd be amongst the flowers, like I'd be like walking around in nature again, and I'd be spending time with my family and my friends, and I'd walk my dog more often. It's like you can, like all of us can imagine what life would be like as soon as we stop using social media, and it literally is like the ultimate heaven that we've wanted our entire lives, and we can get that just by quitting social media. Something that we realize isn't even good for us anyway. Click this video to learn more right now. Do the hard work, especially when you don't feel like it. Mwah.